What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and thank the Lord. Thank the Lord the Phillies won the series. My God. Because this was definitely going to be a type of game that I guess you could describe as, like, trying to keep people off the cliff, from jumping off of the cliff or something like that. Because another series loss, my God, everything probably would have burned down. So they avoided that for now. They win the series. They won the final game against the Cubs. Jesus Luzardo had a very good game, and hopefully he has figured something out from the very disastrous past two starts. And there's definitely some comparisons that I will bring up in the latter part of this about, just the past two starts from Jesus Luzardo compared to this one, and the way that I guess his pitching stance looks, and maybe the possibility of tipping pitches or something like that. So that's something that we'll bring up in a little bit as well. Where some power to, on display. Kyle Schwarber hits a home run. ALEC BOHM hit a late home run. Some extra base hits, timely hitting, and all that stuff. And relatively was I guess you could say, a stress-free type of game to clinch a series against a very good Chicago Cubs team. Now, granted, there's still a lot of work for this Phillies team to do to really win some people back for the short run, and that means you have to go on a stretch. You have to win a couple of series in a row here. Definitely getting some revenge against the Toronto Blue Jays this weekend. That would definitely help a lot. You also do have an off day tomorrow, so that kind of, I don't know, I guess you helps reset some things. I'm not entirely sure. But, right now, just take the series wins as it is. I won't shit on them as much, but there's definitely some things that will have to go down, and then some interesting things as well. So, before we get into the rest of everything for today, and I'm also apologizing for delaying the stream as much as I did, so I'll get into all that stuff, as we continue. So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. If you're new to the channel, recommend you hitting that subscribe button. It does me such a great deal of service. You can also use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Also, drop a comment. Also, leave a like. That helps me so much with the YouTube algorithm. Does so much. And also leave a follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram for all the good stuff. So, basically, it's a very long day. It was a very long day. You could definitely tell from my tone of voice. I guess you could maybe tell from my eyes that I am very tired. I am very tired. So I was at the game today. I was sitting in the sun for some of it, and it was very hot out. The weather is starting to get a lot warmer in the city of Philadelphia. The humidity is starting in the city of Philadelphia, so that is not my type of weather. That is not the weather that is made for me. So I sit out there. I sweat easily in those seats, and so I have to go back up into the shade, cool off, and then a whole bunch of other things, watching the game progress. Then I come back home. I gotta do work because Russ did a show during the Phillies game. I had to edit that up, and then I had to do Brodes' recap, edit that up, posted all that stuff, so you can guys go and check that out, and all those shorts and clips on their respective channels and other platforms and social media stuff there. It's good stuff. You should definitely go check it out. So, just from going to the game, from coming in the heat specifically, then coming back having to stare at my monitor for basically like 3+4 hours straight of just my eyes getting drained, and my just staring at the screen for so long to where your eyes hurt and where you kind of get a headache. That's basically where I was at because I just wanted to get the stuff done. I wanted to get the stuff up and posted to make sure everything was good. That's basically what I did, and everything went smoothly for the most part, except for fucking Instagram, because, just one thing didn't want to post because of the stupid scheduling limit. Ugh. Ugh. But that ran aside. Phillies gave me a win today. Phillies gave me a win in a game that I attended, and a series that they just desperately needed the win. They desperately needed the win. They really did. And Jesus Luzardo was definitely a major factor in that outcome. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run allowed, no walks, which is very huge for Jesus Luzardo. 10 strikeouts on 99 pitches. He threw 70 strikes, and it really sucks that those past 2 starts really inflated his ERA. But just a very good bounce back start, and hopefully this is just a situation where he did figure it out over the what was going wrong, in the past couple of outings. And there are a couple of posts that I do want to bring up. One specifically from Pitching Ninja, just showing a side-by-side comparison of when Jesus Luzardo is throwing a changeup with runners on second base, and he's changing up the hand motion a little bit, and maybe it was a sign that he was kind of tipping his pitches or something like that. And then there's also a tweet from the warmonger on Twitter as well, saying that Jesus Luzardo learned he was likely tipping his pitches the past 2 games, especially with runners on second base. If you're tipping pitches in 2025, you are going to get crushed, and this is a perfectly legal part of the game, probably much more common than people realize. His numbers with a runner on second base supported prior to his last 2 starts: a 143 average, a 228, xOBA against, 34% with his last 2 starts, which is a small sample size. He was crushed. 900 average and a 734 expected on base, against a 12.5% whiff. And it's basically just showing the videos of the way he was probably tipping his pitches. And also the warmonger post out, and it may be a new and bigger glove. I can't tell. Some pitches have switched to a bigger glove to help prevent giving away pitch tips. So, was Jesus Luzardo tipping his pitches, or was it just a simple thing of executing better, maybe throwing away a pitch? I think Ben Davis on Phillies postgame brought up the possibility of him getting rid of his sinker or something like that, and then just use primarily his fastball with his off-speed pitches, and that definitely changed a lot, in terms of the whiffing, in terms of fooling batters and everything with his arsenal. So maybe there's a correlation to all of those things. Maybe he did realize that there was maybe a change in the way that he was gripping the ball, and a change in the way that he was probably presenting himself for different style pitches with runners on base, and maybe batters and runners were just catching up to that. And he saw that, he noticed it, and maybe he went with a different approach to where, all of his pitches, coming out of the glove look very similar, and there's nothing really different about it, so he can't tip the pitches, and the runner on second base can't really give a signal to the batter on what specific type of pitch is coming to the plate. And maybe also getting rid of one pitch and utilizing another pitch that probably provides you more success, like his fastball, to combine with his slider and his other off-speed pitches. Maybe that did help a lot as well. But overall, it was a very good start for Jesus Luzardo, and it's definitely a much-needed start just because of, the faultiness with the rotation lately. And it definitely, if you get a Jesus Luzardo pitching like the way that he was before the last 2 starts, not before this start specifically, but before the previous 2, where he was just getting obliterated in the first few innings. If you get a Jesus Luzardo that was basically as around a 2 ERA, maybe a little bit of above a 2 ERA, or maybe he can go back to being the sub 2 ERA pitcher. We have no idea. We just got to see how he progresses in these next few outings. But if you can get that version of Jesus Luzardo back, that definitely bolsters your rotation a lot, especially since we don't know when Aaron Nola is going to come back to the rotation. Just I would say the wonkiness of Christopher Sanchez. He did have a good outing against the Pittsburgh Pirates when he last pitched, but still, Christopher Sanchez, his command and all that stuff have been very wonky. Ranger Suarez has been very good for this rotation as well, but it still just bolsters that rotation. Instead of, 3 pitchers that are pitching well and also missing Aaron Nola, now you have 4 pitchers that are pitching well with Wheeler, Luzardo, Ranger, Christopher Sanchez, and then Mick Abel, when he goes every 5th day as well. I'm sure Mick Abel will find a way to bounce back from his start last night against the Cubs, so it definitely makes your rotation a little bit, getting back to basically where it's supposed to be, the very strong point of your team. And the offense definitely did help out Jesus Luzardo. They give him a nice 3-run cushion in that bottom of the first inning, so that was very much needed as well. So if we basically just go through the course of today's game, you go to that bottom of the first inning, Trey Turner with a leadoff single, Kyle Schwarber then walks, both Turner and Schwarber steal second and third base, ALEC BOHM with an RBI ground out, but then Castellanos struck out, so you're thinking about, oh my god, are they going to leave more meat off the bones with this situation? No. Kepler then doubles to right center field, scores Kyle Schwarber, and then JT Realmuto with, they call it an infield single, but it was a situation where it bled into the outfield, and Kepler was able to score because of that. It becomes a 3-0 Phillies lead, so that's a nice cushion there for Jesus Luzardo, because he also did allow a couple of base runners to start the second inning, but then he got the next 3 guys to strike out, so that's him settling in right there. Go to the bottom of the third inning. Kyle Schwarber, leadoff home run, makes it a 4-0 Phillies lead. Then Nick Castellanos just barely missed a solo shot himself off the top of the left center field fence. It took a little bit for them to review it, but it was confirmed to not be a home run. Instead, it was a triple for Castellanos, but then sadly they were not able to bring him home. Kepler walks. JT grounds into a fielder's choice where it's Castellanos thrown out at home, and then nothing happened basically after that. Cubs, they do get on the board with a 2-out double by Horner in the fourth to make it 4-1. Then you go to that bottom of the fourth inning, Kemp with a leadoff single, Trey Turner then doubles, so you have second and third for Kyle Schwarber. And in this situation, he strikes out. Not the best at bat there for Kyle Schwarber, but ALEC BOHM comes up, singles up the middle, and scores those 2 runs to give the Phillies a 6-1 lead. So there's a nice response there, and it's good to not leave meat off the bone in that situation. So the timely hitting was definitely better in this game in course for the Phillies. So offensively for the rest of it, little bit, not much stuff going on. ALEC BOHM does hit a solo shot in the bottom of the 7th inning to give the Phillies a 7-1 lead, and then top of the 8th inning, Tucker scores on an RBI ground out and all that stuff. It's a 7-2 lead, and then basically that's where the game ends off there for the Phillies. They win by a score of 7-2. So overall, definitely just an overall good performance by this team. Trey Turner in the leadoff spot goes 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and a walk. Kyle Schwarber goes 1 for 3 with a solo shot and a walk. ALEC BOHM 2 for 4 with 4 RBI. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4. Max Kepler 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. JT Realmuto 1 for 4 with an RBI. Stott 1 for 4. Kemp 1 for 4, who was playing first base today, and Johan Rojas 0 for 4. Teams runners in scoring position, the Phillies went 3 for 8. And then in terms of the other pitchers that the Phillies used out of the bullpen today, Lazar, he pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 earned run, 3 hits, 1 strikeout. And then Mercado, who they actually just called up and DFA'd Carlos Hernandez, he closes the game out, walked 1, 20 pitches, and managed to shut the game down from there. And gave yourself a really important series win as something that this team just desperately needed. And so something interesting, like I said, bringing up Otto Kemp playing first base. So it was shown the past couple of days Otto Kemp was taking drills at first base, so it made it look like that the Phillies wanted ALEC BOHM to go back to third base, because he hasn't been at third base for a little bit for the past few games, just because Bryce Harper being on the IL. So they put BOHM back at third, they put Kemp at first, and that they're trying to force Kemp over the first base. Kind of makes me think that, with this whole Bryce Harper thing, it's probably going to be a little longer than they're telling us, most likely. I don't know when Bryce is going to be coming back, even though Rob said the other day that Bryce is feeling a little bit better with the treatment that they are doing, but still, this is something that Bryce Harper has been dealing with since last season, and when you're not playing the game, yeah, your wrist probably feels fine, but then when you get back into that batter's box, or, certain situations, I think the Phillies were even talking about the possibility, or, some Phillies insiders were even talking about the possibility of Kyle Schwarber going back into left field just to supplement some offense from the outfield, and then if Bryce Harper does come back, he becomes the DH or something like that, so they do with that type of situation again, and I don't know what the case is going to be, but when Bryce Harper steps back into a batter's box or he steps onto the field, his wrist is going to definitely feel a lot different. It's not going to feel the same on a day where he's off, where he's not touching the field whatsoever, where he's not putting pressure on that wrist. It's going to feel a lot different. This is probably something that you're going to have to wait till the offseason for him to figure out. You're not going to figure out, boom, in like that 2 weeks. It's not going to happen, because I don't know if they've been doing MRIs on it. I don't know if they've been doing imaging on the wrist to find out if there's any structural damage or anything like that, because they really haven't told us anything. The only thing they've really told us is providing the update on Aaron Nola with the stress on his ribs to where he has to be shut down for another 2 weeks. So I don't know where this is going with Bryce Harper, but with the way that it's the context clues, you're looking at the context clues, and it just kind of feels like that this whole entire situation with Bryce probably going to take a little bit longer than we anticipate. Probably. I believe Matt Gelb brought up the possibility of Aaron Nola not returning until after the All-Star break. That probably could be the same thing with a Bryce Harper. We really don't know. We really don't know anything. But we all know that Bryce Harper is probably going to force himself back onto the field at some point. So I guess it's only a matter of time. But I just don't feel confident with it. I really don't feel confident with it. So just a lot of interesting things going on there, but just crazy stuff. I really don't see anything else in base with this game. You know, you got yourself a nice series win, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. Just something to keep us from jumping off the cliff for a little bit here. You do have a day off tomorrow, so we don't have to worry about watching this team tomorrow. But then you do have the weekend series with the Toronto Blue Jays, Ranger Suarez against Kevin Gausman. So 5-4 with a 3.87 ERA. I don't think we saw Gausman in that series against Toronto. And then you have Christopher Sanchez going up against Bowden Francis. Did he face the Phillies the last time out? Yes, he did. That was the guy that allowed the 6 runs in the first inning. And then also Jose Barrios on Sunday afternoon against Zach Wheeler. So we won't be facing Chris Bassett. So maybe there's a chance there. But then after the Blue Jays series, it's a 4-game series against the Miami Marlins. Then you're back home for 3 games on a weekend against the New York Mets. That's all nationally broadcast games. Joy. And then the rest of the schedule, you go to Houston, you go to Atlanta, blah, 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 until the All-Star break. This team is definitely something. It's definitely something. They definitely need to, like I said, it's nothing that they can really do on the field wise is going to convince me that, they're going to win a World Series. They're going to do any type of damage in a playoff or anything like that. I still think bottom line, everything, they're probably going to be in the mix for a playoffs just because that's how bad Major League Baseball is. They're still going to be in the mix for a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to be in the mix for the division, bearing like something that the Mets just go on a horrific stretch and the Phillies go on another strong stretch or something like that. They're probably going to be in the battling spot for the wild card until the very end of the season. And nothing they'll really do on the field is going to convince me otherwise unless something drastically changes, whether that they actually go all in at the trade deadline or something like that. I have no idea. There is something from Ken Rosenthal on Foul Territory that he kind of brought up the fact of like where the Phillies might want to address things at the trade deadline. Obviously, talking about left field, talking about center field, or something like that. He really didn't bring up anything specific. He was kind of just throwing it out there or just talking, just barroom conversation or something like that. Really didn't, or maybe it is something that Ken Rosenthal is hearing and he just decided to bring it up or something like that. I have no idea. I have no idea. Do they actually go in all into the trade deadline? I don't know. I don't know. Is that the reason why they're not calling Justin Crawford up? Is because they don't want to hurt his numbers or anything like that if he does get called up because he's putting up such great numbers down in AAA? I don't know. Obviously, they don't want to trade Andrew Painter, and Andrew Painter, the past couple of outings in AAA for him have not been the best. They definitely not been. He's been getting roughed out up a little bit, a lot. So that definitely tells me that he's still a little bit away from being ready for Major League Baseball action. And I don't think he was going to be that major of an impact this year. I think the only way that he would have been a major impact for this team is being a bullpen arm. And maybe that could still be in the mix or something like that. That could still be in the fold. But that's still something that remains to be seen. But basically, besides that, nothing they can really do that can really change my opinion otherwise. You could really just give me a little bit more highs on the roller coaster ride that is the 162 game season of Major League Baseball, because the past little bit, it's been a lot of lows. It's been a lot of being pissed off. It's been a lot of being frustrated, not feeling good about this team. And I would like just for a little bit to feel happy, just to enjoy watching them, but they really haven't provided that. And like I said, if they provide me something that I enjoy, it's not going to make me change my opinion about them. It just, I want to enjoy watching baseball. And I really hope they do provide me that for me. I really hope so. They provide that for us, but I'm not guaranteeing shit. I'm not guaranteeing shit, but hopefully that could be the case. Hopefully. Maybe this series win provides them a little bit of confidence. I don't know. But before we get to the anytime, I'll actually get into the anytime hotline right now. Let me set this up for you. We do have one voicemail here. It is from Steven. Might as well do that. Went off the stream, let you guys go chill the rest of the night. This was more, like I said, this will more be a shorter stream than not, just because of how tired I am. But I still wanted to get this thing out for you guys. So let's get to Steven. Let's see what he has to say about today's series win.
Hey, Amadeo. I just wanted to start the call off by saying the Phillies are by far the most bipolar team in Major League Baseball.
That's true.
Got a series win here. I mean, that's really a nice thing to see. I mean, I'm not going to take too much away from it. I still see the flaws with this team. I still don't like their bullpen at all. I still think their outfield's the worst in Major League Baseball. And that's stuff that's going to have to improve if they want just even a remote chance of competing with teams like the Dodgers and the Mets in the playoffs. But, yeah, you got a series win. I mean, the biggest thing for me personally was seeing LUZARDO bounce back. I knew he had it in him. I knew that he was a great pitcher, and I knew he was going to bounce back. I mean, and to see it today, him get double-digit strikeouts, I mean, it was just beautiful to see. Zach Wheeler was great, and I thought Mick Abel battled yesterday. I mean, a lot of people say he was bad yesterday, and yes, he did walk 3 guys. But, I mean, fooling Kyle Tucker with the bases loaded kept them in that game. That offense just couldn't come through. And that's why you lost that game yesterday. And the bullpen, I'm not happy with this bullpen at all. They have to do something. They just have to. I mean, I think the first step, in DFA and Carlos Hernandez, that was essential. The guy has been an absolute stiff here. So, yeah, just take the day off tomorrow. Got to rest, get your revenge on Toronto, and then go beat up on a bad Miami team to try to get some momentum going. That's about all I can say.
Yeah, hopefully that could be the case. And yeah, hopefully they build some confidence, especially say if you do win the series against Toronto, you do have a good series against the Miami Marlins. And especially, it's probably better to build confidence more than not, especially after the Miami series when you do play the Mets at Citizens Park for 3 games all on national television. Like, say, you win the series against Toronto, you win like 3 or 4, or possibly even sweep Miami. And then you could go against a Mets team that's been playing a lot better baseball lately. Well, they've been playing really good baseball. And you find a way to win a series, especially after the Mets swept you in Citi Field earlier this season. If you could find a way to get some momentum there, then you beat the Mets in a series. That definitely could be a really good high and make the fan base feel a little bit better than what we've been feeling over this past, 2-3 weeks, basically. So that definitely would help a lot. But it's still a long ways to go for this team. A long ways to go. So I don't know what else they're going to do. I don't know. We just got to wait and see. We really do. So that'll do it for today, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in here, even though it's a little bit after the fact. Had to get the stream out for you guys at some point. It's a good win by the Phillies today. Good series win. We'll just see where they carry on with this. We'll see how they build off this. Off day tomorrow. We don't have to worry about anything with the Phillies tomorrow, bearing any type of breaking news or something like that. So we'll see on Friday how everything goes. So appreciate you guys tuning in here. And probably for the Toronto series, it'll probably be a series recap after Sunday. Just see how everything goes. So appreciate you guys as always. Don't forget to drop a comment and leave a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And you can also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. So appreciate you guys for tuning out.